How's it going, you big beautiful bastards? Welcome back to another career resimulation. Today we have one of the most athletic humans to ever walk the planet. Today we have the man, the myth, the legend, Bo Jackson, a man that used to play baseball on top of being in the NFL. Like, somehow, some magical way, this man could genuinely do it all. Don't get me wrong, there's other athletes that have done crossover, but for some reason Bo was just so good at both. The man was an athletic freak that was just, he had everything taken away from him by injuries, but he still had a great career nonetheless, and now we're giving him an opportunity to go back at it with no injuries. As you can see right now, he's projected the 8th pick in the 2nd round. That's the best place I could put him in, because I did have to adjust him above the other running backs, because he'd obviously be drafted above every single one of these guys. So as of right now, the Arizona Cardinals have the #1 overall pick. They're probably not going to pick him #1. I won't put it, I won't just shrug that idea off, but I just don't see that happening. Go to the next pick. In 1st overall, the Arizona Cardinals take Jared Verse. You have the Patriots in 2nd. They take Caleb Williams. No more Mac Jones. I mean, the Bills could take him here, but again, I kind of see him going in the 2nd round with this point we're at. I don't imagine they do it. The Bucks could. They take Bo Nix. Okay, the Lions, no. Texans, potentially? Is Bo Jackson going? No. Carolina could. He could be a Panther. All right, we're just going to go out. Why did Philly take Quinn Ewers like they don't have Jalen Hurts? We're like halfway through the 2nd round and he still hasn't gone, which is kind of crazy because obviously the Steelers aren't going to take him. The Seahawks aren't going to take him. He might drop to a 3rd round pick at this point. Blake Corum even goes before him. That's insane. Well, dude, they're just skipping over Bo Jackson, and he's going to the Vikings. Okay, he gets to team up with Jettas. We've seen the Vikings a lot, actually, in this game in Sims, and the fact that Bo Jackson even ended up there going this late in the 2nd, it's kind of insane, but I'll take it. I'm here for that. Bo to the Vikings. So guys, I do want to take a minute too and apologize for not having a video up last week. There was some complications back home. My mom ended up in the hospital. I had to go back home. She is doing okay now. She actually just got to go home yesterday as I'm recording this. So we're doing good. We're okay. But I am going home again this weekend because it's her birthday, so if there's not a video up this weekend, I apologize. I'm going to try and get one done, but it might be a little weird. It's still going to be a career sim, but I don't know if it's going to work out the way I want it to, or if there's going to be much content to it, but if I have to upload a 15-minute video on this one, I actually really want to do this one, and I'm going to love it, but we'll see where that goes. As I'm recording this, the Steelers actually play tomorrow night, and I'll probably upload this video around the time the game is starting, and I don't know how they're going to do against Titans. This team just makes me want to rip my hair out. They have all the talent in the world, but can't do a damn thing with it, and it really just bugs the shit out of me. But there's nothing I can do about it, because obviously I'm not Mike Tomlin, and I'm not Matt Canada. And so, as we go into Bo's rookie year, you can see he gets to team up with a new quarterback without Kirk Cousins here. Teddy B has made his way back to Minnesota, though, where now you have this rookie duo in the backfield of Michael Penix and Bo Jackson that are about to tear this league apart. You still have Jay Jettas, you still have Jordan Addison, and you still have KJ Osborne along with TJ Hawkinson. Just real quick, I want to see if they lost Danielle Hunter, and they did not, so Danielle is still here, and they got Devin White along the way, too. So this team is pretty improved from everything, basically. So let's see what happens here. So I do want to take a moment, because I didn't do it in the last video, and just say thank you to everyone that supports this channel. We're approaching 900 subscribers, which is pretty wild. Like, honestly, when I started making these videos, I didn't really expect it to ever be like anything too big. It was just something that I like to do, and I kind of did on my own time, and I was like, you know, maybe people would enjoy this. And I know as of now, which I didn't know when I made the big video, the big history resim, I know about Bangle and C4 a lot now, where I have watched their videos, and I'd like, in that video, I said that nobody else does content like this, which was a complete farce. That was completely wrong, and that is still to this day my mistake. Those guys make amazing content, as they make the playoffs too. They made the playoffs in his rookie year. They went 9-8. They were 2nd in the NFC North behind the 10-7 Packers. They are playing the Dallas Cowboys the wild card round. They had the 23rd rated rushing offense, so Bo didn't do too hot, it doesn't look like. Honestly, the offense as a whole didn't do too hot. It looks like this team heavily depended on the defense to win some games. We'll take a look at our stats and everything real quick. Penix had a pretty good rookie year. As we go look at our other rookie on this offense, Bo ended up finishing the season with 254 carries for 1,045 yards and only 2 touchdowns, along with 1 fumble, 57 broken tackles. That's a very Bo Jackson-like thing. So I'm almost willing to say he didn't win Offensive Rookie of the Year, but we will check just to be sure. I think Penix is probably even going to be above him in these awards. NFC Offensive Rookie of the Year ends up going to Bo Nix, who did beat out Michael Penix and Bo Jackson, who are second and third. So the Vikings duo ends up just missing out to Bo Nix of the Tampa Bay Bucks. Which actually, I kind of wonder where Bo Nix ends up going in real life, because he has spent so much time in college. He has the most starts out of any quarterback in college football history. As we go into this, you can see Bo has now ended up in the top 3 with an X Factor. His X Factor is ankle breaker. I'm surprised it's not freight train or anything, but I'm honestly not entirely sure what the X Factors are for running backs in this game. I haven't messed with them too much. I just recently got back into MUT, so I'm still trying to learn the abilities and everything. I got all the solos done on both my accounts, and I've started to build up my main team a lot. So like soon I'm going to be making MUT videos, probably not like within the next 2 weeks, but moving forward after that, there will most likely be MUT videos. And we're in overtime here, so we're going to jump in. This is going to be our first opportunity to see Bo play. I actually think we will get to see him carry the ball a little bit here, seeing as it is a tie game in overtime. Can see him in the back there. Penix comes out under center. He is going to hand it off to Bo Jackson, who finds a hole. Great vision there to cut that back. He's got 12 rushes for 58 yards and a touchdown, so he has equal or half as many touchdowns in this game as he did all regular season. Once again, Penix comes out under center, and he's going to hand it off to the outside to Bo, who's going to get around the edge for another big gain. He is just running it right now. This is looking good. Oh, now we come out empty backfield. Bo's lined up out wide by Jay Jettas up there. You can see Jettas talking to the ref. There's Penix dropping back. I didn't realize Penix was a lefty, and he throws it to Bo as Bo is getting involved in every play here. Penix once again comes out under center here. This one could be another handoff, but he is dropping back to throw, and he hits Addison over the middle for a first down. Obviously, a touchdown here doesn't end the game. It just keeps overtime going and gives them a touchdown lead. Penix is calling an audible right now. He's out in the shotgun. He is dropping back into Hawkinson quick. I can't believe that ball was caught. This is a great duo to have in the backfield, by the way. A Heisman candidate at quarterback who's getting it out quick into triple coverage. You have a current, like, a real-life Heisman candidate at quarterback, and then you have Bo Jackson, who I think, did Bo win the Heisman? I think he did. I can't remember. He's dropping back to throw, though. Penix is chucking it to Jettas, who makes the catch down to the 25. Penix comes out under center. He's going to hand it off to Bo, who finally gets stuffed in the backfield. Couldn't get anything going that time. On third down here, Penix comes out in the shotgun. He is going to have time back there to throw. He hits Hawkinson, who falls down a yard short, and that is going to lead to a field goal, most likely. They're actually going to go for it here on 4th and 1. They come out in the shotgun. I think it's obviously going to be a pass. Looking at the time on the clock and overtime, the CPU will... Oh, he hands it off to Bo, and Bo finds the hole and gets the first on 4th and 1. So once again, we come out in the shotgun here where you're approaching 2 minutes left in the overtime period. Penix is calling an audible real quick to his receivers on the outside. He's dropping back. He's got all day, and he finds Jordan Addison for 5. This time, Penix is out under center. He could hand this one off just looking at the position on the field they're in. There is a motion, and he does hand it off to KJ Osborne, who gets stuffed for a loss of 2 in a very Matt Canada-like jet sweep. And now on a 3rd and 7, I'm a little worried here that they are going to have to settle for the field goal. Penix is dropping back to throw. He's got time, and he's throwing towards the end zone. He finds TJ Hawkinson for the touchdown to give this team the lead. So now the defense needs to make a big stop against this Dallas offense, and it doesn't look like they're going to do it. They let him go right down the field and score, and now we're back into the same situation we were. Calling it audible. Now Penix drops back to throw. He's got time. He's chucking it up, and he throws it right to the defense. I don't even know who that is. Is that Malik Hooker? The rookie mistake coming out of Penix, throwing the INT that'll probably lose them the game. And there it is. The Dallas Cowboys are sending them home in Bo Penix's rookie year. I didn't look at the stats. We'll have to go do that. I just exited the game too quick. I was just trying to get the menu to pop up, and I hit X1 too many times. We know Penix had a great game as he threw 365 touchdowns and a pick that lost them the game. Dak threw 410 and 4 touchdowns. Rushing, Tony Pollard had 103 and a touchdown with a fumble. Bo had 68 with a touchdown and a fumble. And now we move on to our sophomore season for our rookie duo. I'm kind of excited to see how this goes. Hopefully they keep Penix and Bo together, because that is going to turn into a really good backfield over time. And as we go into their sophomore season, Bo is up to an 85 with his X Factor. Jettas is gone, which is crazy. He must have signed somewhere else because he was a 99 overall and way too young to retire. So we now have Jordan Addison at receiver 1. There's KJ Osborne. Laviska Shenault is now receiver 3. Cam Akers is still here as well. He's an 82 overall behind Bo. TJ Hawkinson is at least still here. So one of the bigger targets on this team team is still around. And now we sim to the playoffs in their sophomore season. I honestly, the loss of Jettis is probably going to hurt this offense to like no end, so I don't know what to expect here. And like I expected, yeah, that was a lot of damage that Jettis leaving did. They missed the playoffs. They went 6-11, but had the number 9 rated passing offense, the 31st rated rushing offense. So maybe this isn't an offense Bo can entirely succeed in, but also with the loss of Jettis, I think I should change up the schemes to where it doesn't favor a heavy pass. Bo ended up with 230 attempts for 1,023 yards and 8 touchdowns, so a big improvement on his touchdowns from last season. In season, I don't think he's going to be offensive player of the year or anything. He's not even on this list at all. As we go look at maybe best running back, he might be here somewhere. He is here all the way down in 9th, so like it's one of those things that I can't really expect him to succeed in this offensive scheme that was designed around Justin Jefferson, who's no longer here. We'll go on to year 3. Before we sim through year 3, I'm gonna change up the schemes to some kind of like maybe not heavy run, but a kind of offensive scheme that it runs the ball a little more than what the Vikings do, because that's already obvious in real life. The Vikings don't run the ball very often. Their best option is Anthony Madison or Alexander Madison. Wow. We're going to try and go the West Coast zone run. I know they're at least going to run the ball a little more, and Bo for some reason progressed into an elusive back more than he did a power back like I wanted him to be. So Bo is up to an 88 though with his X Factor still. Jordan Addison's an 86 at receiver 1. They now have Tyler Lockett at receiver 2. That's big. That's really good. KJ Osborne has been demoted back to receiver 3, and there you have LaVisca Chenault down to receiver 4, and TJ Hawkinson is still here at tight end. Now we progress to year 3 with the change in the offensive schemes and the addition of Tyler Lockett. I could see a little bit of improvement to where they might end up back in the playoffs here. I honestly, after missing it last season though, I'm not sure what I expect. And there you go. The changing of the offensive schemes made a hell of a difference. They went 13-4 and won the division. They had the 14th rated rushing offense, 7th passing, 3rd rated offense overall, along with the 3rd rated defense. So the changing of the schemes definitely improved the offense a lot. We'll take a look here and see how Bo did, as Penix had his best season by far. I'm assuming Bo did as well, and he did. Bo Jackson had 273 carries for 1,310 yards with 17 touchdowns. We'll take a look real quick. I'm just curious about how he did receiving. He had 30 catches for 189 and a touchdown, so he had 18 combined touchdowns this season. NFC, he doesn't win Offensive Player of the Year or anything. He's all the way down here in 9th, even behind Jordan Addison. There's CMC. Najee Harris has left Pittsburgh and gone to Carolina. We'll take a look at best running back, where again, yeah, it's not him. He is all the way down here in 6th, behind some big names here. Javonte Williams is kind of surprising on here. And so let's get into another playoff game. I didn't even look at who we were playing. I wasn't even paying attention. Atlanta, who had the best running back in the league in Bijan Robinson. You can see our top 3. We have Carlos Sellers, Danielle Hunter, and Bo Jackson. They are currently down 10 here in the 4th. They were trying to drive and they get stopped. Oh, they scored. Okay, now they just got to get the ball back, but they're out of timeouts. And Desmond Ritter's taking knees. He progresses so well in these, by the way. And just like that, they're going home in the wild card round. We didn't get an opportunity to see Bo play this time. We'll take a look at his stats. Penix really outplayed Desmond Ridder in this game, as he almost doubled his yards and had 2 touchdowns to Ritter's 0, but Bijan had 93 yards and no touchdowns. Bo Jackson only had 6 carries for 18 yards, which is wild considering he had 17 touchdowns in the regular season. And now we move on to year 4 here, as we have Penix, who does now unlock Superstar Dev. He is an 83 overall. They had drafted a new tight end who's at fullback, but he's still behind TJ Hawkinson. Rogers here is now receiver 2, as they have now lost Jordan Addison as well, so the receivers are just all dipping out of here as quick as they can. Randy Pleasant here is receiver 3. He's a big-bodied boy. Look at that. He looks huge, but he's only 196. We take a look here at Bo. He is now 26 years old going into year 4. He'll be 27 by the end of it. We'll look at, I just want to look real quick if they re-signed him to a bigger deal yet. They did not. He has 1 more year left, and his overall interest to re-sign is low as hell. I also meant to show this the free agent motivation impact. I changed it very high because I feel like in today's NFL, if a player doesn't want to re-sign, whether they're loyal or not, they are going to leave. So I think that's actually accurate to have on, especially in a franchise that I have no control over at all. So he could very well leave, as he had no interest to re-sign as we sim to the playoffs here in year 4. I don't know how they managed to win the division going 8-9, but they did. And Dexter Lawrence, who actually just got traded in real life, is still on this team. They're playing the 11-6 Giants, so in the wild card round. We take a look here. They had the 13th rated rushing offense, meaning Bo has improved greatly. The 9th rated passing offense, 16th rated overall. We take a look at Bo, who had 275 carries for 1,421 yards and 13 touchdowns. So a drop off in touchdowns, but his highest yards in his career. Take a look at his receiving stats. He ended up getting 166 receiving yards for 2 touchdowns, meaning he put up 15 touchdowns this season. So let's jump into a wild card game against the Giants, where he's potentially playing his last game as a Minnesota Viking. And they are currently getting blown out. They're down by 17, and they're going home once again in the wild card round. Bo didn't even get a chance. It's time for him to get up out of here with this very high free agent motivation. We look at the stats. Ben Graham here outplayed Michael Penix for the most part. He had more yards, but 1 less touchdown. We go look at rushing, where Saquon killed Bo Jackson in yards. How do we have another playoff game where even the quarterback had more rushing attempts than Bo, when Bo had put up 1,400 yards in the season? They just forget that they have Bo Jackson in the backfield come playoff time. I would be livid. I'd leave too. I hope he leaves. And yeah, he did resign, despite having low interest to resign and me having that on very high. He resigned on a 3-year deal, making about $10 million every season. The last year he's set to make $11.5 million. So as we go into year 5, Bo is up to a 93. You can see they have a new rookie running back who's a 66 overall, probably a later round pick. So Penix is now up to an 85. He still has a superstar dev. On top of that, you have Bo, who's up to a 93. We lost Tyler Lockett. We just continue to lose receivers season in and season out. So Rodgers has now been promoted to receiver 1. Pleasant is receiver 2. We have even lost Laviska Shenault. And now we have Lawson, who's receiver 3 at a 67 overall. TJ Hawkinson is still kicking it here at an 88. He is trying his best. I feel bad for Hawkinson, man. He's just stuck here. They got a new quarterback. They got a new running back. They have a very good backfield, yet they just keep struggling. I also feel bad for the Vikings in real life, seeing as they just lost Kirk for the season. They did end up trading for Josh Dobbs, who I think could be really good on that team. I think he has potential. Once Jettis is back too, it's going to help him even more. So I'm assuming we missed the playoffs. Kevin O'Connell was fired as Vikings head coach, and now we have to go take over as a new coach, where I'm not letting the game create it this time. I'm changing the name because I'm tired of it being the same coach every time. So there we go. We now have Jack Mehoff coming in as the new head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. We'll take a look here at how they did this season. They ended up finishing dead last in the NFC North. They went 6-11. They had the 5th rated passing offense, 27th rated rushing offense. We'll take a look here. I'm assuming Bo had a pretty bad season looking at those. Yeah, and he fell off a bit compared to his last couple seasons in rushing yards. He had 1,139 yards with 14 touchdowns still, though. Receiving, he had his best receiving season by far with 28 catches for 293 and 2 touchdowns. Almost 300 receiving yards for him is pretty good. So and just like that, we're going to move on to year 6 of Bo Jackson, where he's going to be getting pretty close to 30 years old. He's probably going to be 29, I think, coming into this season. Penix is up to an 86 in year 6. Bo is up to a 94. Rodgers is an 84. They now have, who is this, Will Robertson or Wan'Dale Robinson? Wow, Will Robinson? I wasn't even close. TJ Hawkinson is still here at an 84 too. TJ's been rocking with us the whole time, and he is struggling, and I hate that for him. I love TJ Hawkinson. As we sim forward to the playoffs here in year 6, it has been a bit of a struggle for Bo so far. They can't seem to win a playoff game. As we move into year 6, we are back in the playoffs at 9-8. They were 2nd in the division behind the Packers. They had a very good offensive season with the 9th rated offense, 6th rushing offense, 9th rated passing offense. The defense was 29th in the league, which isn't great, but at least the offense was good enough to get him here. We look, Penix had his first season in a while under 4,000 yards. We'll take a look at Bo, who I think, probably had his best season so far with 1,533 yards and 16 touchdowns. He did have 2 fumbles. We take a look at his receiving stats. He had 185 receiving yards for no touchdowns, but he did have 16 touchdowns on the season and may have almost led the league in rushing yards. We go look at the NFC here, where Bijan is your offensive player of the year, and actually Bo's not even on here. We take a look at best running back. I imagine Bo is on there. He's in 3rd behind K9 and Bijan Robinson, so that is as close as he has been to getting that award, as he is still yet to win an award in his career. We will jump into this wild card game where they are playing the Bucks, who have Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I don't know who they have at quarterback, actually. Tristan Wirfs. Oh, Bo Nix. Yeah, I forgot Bo Nix was a Buck. This is the man that beat him out for offensive rookie of the year 6 seasons ago. They do get it in the end zone. The defense needs to make a big stop here. Oh, they got the ball. The defense made a stop. Okay, here we go. Let's see what Bo can do. They're currently down 7. You can see Bo. There's Penix. The receivers, I've lost track of all of their names at this point. I'm not going to lie, as Penix is dropping back to pass on 3rd and 4, and it is batted away. That's going to end up leading to a punt, I think. Yep, they're not going to go for it. Oh, man. They should have ran it on that 3rd and 4 and went for it on 4th. Now the defense needs to make a big stop. They were 29th ranked in the league, though, and on a 3rd and 2, they managed to get them for a loss of 2, and now they have an opportunity with the ball again with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left in the game. Penix comes out here in the shotgun. They are going to have to go 77 yards. Penix is dropping back to throw on 1st, and what a blitz by Owusu Koromoa coming right up the middle for his 2nd sack. That's going to lead us into the 2-minute warning. And now from 2nd and 10, Penix comes out under center, but I'm pretty sure this is obviously going to be a pass. He is dropping back to throw. They leave Bowen to block, and he finds a receiver deep up the seam. They are now past midfield. There is a minute and a half left on the clock. They need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion here to even tie the game. Penix is dropping back to throw once again. Hits the receiver on an out route that gets them inside the 30 down to the 25. We're approaching a minute left here in the 4th. Penix is in the shotgun, obviously going to drop back to throw again. He has time, hits another out route, and the receiver stays in bounds. He should have tried to get out there, but he didn't. And now on 2nd down here, there's 45 seconds left on the clock when he takes the snap. Penix has time. He throws it towards the end zone. It's batted away, but there's a flag. That might be defensive pass interference. That is, in fact, defensive pass interference. And now we have an opportunity to see Bo score a touchdown here as they're going to be down at the 3. They could hand this off. There's 42 seconds left. You have a timeout. You can hand this off to Bo if you really want to and let him power his way in. They're not. They're going to throw it. Penix towards the end zone finds a receiver, and now the 2-point conversion pending. They need this to tie the game. They come out 5 wide for the 2. Penix is dropping back. He finds Hawkinson, who's going to get tackled outside the end zone, and that is going to do it. They're going home in the wild card round once again. Penix actually did outplay Bo Nix, though, which is a surprise to me. And we look at rushing, where Bo had 88 yards and a touchdown, as he had 40 yards after contact, 120-plus yard run that was 45 yards and a touchdown. He averaged 5 yards a carry that game, which is pretty damn good in a playoff game. But just like that, we now have to move on to year 7, where sadly Bo's career is not going as expected. He hasn't been able to even make it past the wild card round. This is going to be the last year under contract here in Minnesota unless he re-signs. As we look at the lineup here, Penix is still here at an 87. Rodgers is still around at an 85. They now have a new receiver too in Adams, as they lost Wan'Dale Robinson already. TJ Hawkinson is still here at an 81. He is set to retire a Viking. He is here for the long haul. Bo is now 29. He will turn 30 in this season. In year 7, we'll take a look and make sure he is still on the last year of his contract. He has very low interest to re-sign. Now we sim to the playoffs, where Jack Mehoff is trying to lead his team to the playoffs once again and potentially to a Super Bowl if they can get it done. But Michael Penix and Bo Jackson have sadly been wasted by the Vikings so far in their careers. This team ended up going 9-8 and missing the playoffs behind the Packers and Bears in the NFC North. They had the 7th rated rushing offense, the 7th rated total offense, but 12th rated passing offense. We take a look here. Michael Penix was once again under 4,000 yards. We'll go to rushing, where you had Bo with 252 carries for almost 1,500 yards and 20 touchdowns. That is one of the best seasons you will ever see out of a running back. As we go look at his receiving stats, where he had 179 for 2 touchdowns. He had 22 touchdowns altogether for this offense. We take a look at the NFC. He actually is not Offensive Player of the Year, but he is the top running back on here, meaning he may have finally won an award. Wrong. He's behind Bijan Robinson in 2nd. Why did I expect him to win that? I don't know, because the guys we're simming for always end up finishing in 2nd. And just like that, we're on to year 8. He is going to be a free agent. We will see if this team is able to re-sign him, but he had low overall interest to re-sign. We'll see what happens. So Bo has started to regress a little bit. He is down to a 91. He was a 94 last season, maybe even a 95. I can't exactly remember. So the regression for Bo has started. He's down to a 91. Penix is an 88. Rodgers is an 86. Adams is an 83. And we lost TJ Hawkinson. We now have a new tight end one with Saunders here. Bo does still at least have his X factor. We will see what happens here as we go into year 8. Wait, I just realized he re-signed. I didn't even acknowledge that. He is now 30 years old. We'll take a look here at his his contract and everything. He re-signed on another 3-year deal where he might be the highest paid running back in the league. As we sim to the playoffs in year 8, we'll see what happens here. He's going to be 31 years old at the end of this season. It seems like his career's winding down kind of early for what I expected, but I did start him at 23 years old because that was how old he was when he was drafted. In year 8, we're back in the playoffs. They went 9-8. Everything's in the yellow. I'm kind of surprised they made it here, but they did. They had the 17th rated rushing offense, the 13th overall offense, the 12th rated passing offense. We'll take a look here at everyone's stats, see how we were rocking in year 8. Penix again under 4,000 yards, 27 touchdowns. We'll go over here to rushing, where you can see Bo did have one of his lower yardage seasons that he's had in a while. He had nearly 1,200 yards. He still had 14 touchdowns. He has been putting up some wild touchdown numbers throughout his career. I don't think he's going to be best running back this season. We'll go here to the NFC, and he's not Offensive Player of the Year. He's not even on that list. We'll go to best running back here, and he's actually not even on that list. Oh, no, yeah, he is. He's in 6th. Wow, I scrolled right past him. So let's see if this is it. Is this the year they can finally win a wild card game? They're playing the Philadelphia Eagles, who still have Jalen Hurts. Jordan Davis is up in their top 3 now. Defense needs to make a stop here. This is big. And they're letting the Eagles go right down the field. Big stop there. 20 seconds left, 4th and 3, and it's 1st and 10 Vikings. They have finally won a playoff game in Bo and Penix's 8th season. Penix continues to outplay opposing quarterbacks as he beats out Jalen Hurts. He threw 285 and 3 touchdowns. Rushing, you had Bo with 82 yards and a touchdown. Jalen had 78 yards rushing on 13 carries. Just like that, for the first time in Bo's career, we're on our way to a divisional round game. We will see what they can do here. They will now play the 14-3 Seahawks with MVP John Havenstein at quarterback. We'll see if Bo and Penix can get it done here. Bo is still number 1 in this top 3. Christian Darrisaw is still around too, I just saw. And just like that, they're down 12 here late in the 4th. They're just throwing the ball. Bo's obviously not going to get it a lot here. It's 4th and 3. They get stopped, and they're going home in the divisional round, losing to the number 1 seed Seahawks in Seattle. Finally, a quarterback has outplayed Michael Penix as John Havenstein threw 248 and 2 touchdowns. We'll take a look at rushing, where K9 outplayed Bo, and Bo had 49 yards rushing for no touchdowns. So just like that, we're moving on to year 9. We didn't really get an opportunity to see Bo there, but they won a playoff game. That's progress. We'll see what happens here moving forward. Michael Penix is even regressing now as he is down to an 84. Bo is all the way down to an 88, still with his X factor. Rodgers is still here. You still have Adams here, and Saunders is still here, taking TJ Hawkinson's role, being that loyal tight end that won't leave. And as we go through this, let's see what happens here in year 9, see if they can make it back to the playoffs, potentially win a wild card game, maybe win a couple more playoff games. It'd really be appreciated for the career of Bo Jackson. This year they end up missing the playoffs. They went 7-10, finished 3rd in the NFC North. They had the 23rd rushing offense, the 3rd rated passing offense though, so the passing offense has still been better than the rushing offense. Penix had a great season for himself. Here we go take a look at Bo, who is under 1,100 yards for the first time in a long time. He had 11 touchdowns, still consistently double-digit touchdowns every season. Obviously, Bo's not going to win any awards there, as he didn't win an award in his 22 touchdown season. I don't imagine he's going to win one for 10 or 11 touchdowns in a season. So now we're going to move on to year 10. Again, his last year under contract in Minnesota, but at this point, I don't see him leaving this team. And just like that, Michael Penix is gone. We now have Searles here at starting quarterback. You still have Bo here with his X factor down to an 85 in year 10. Rodgers is still here. They now have Wyatt here, receiver 3. Adams is receiver 2 as well. Saunders is still around with that loyal tight end. As we sim through year 10, I think we are starting to wind down in the career of Bo Jackson. He started to regress kind of early, but I guess that's the downfall of him being drafted at 23 and being in a position where in Madden they don't play 19 years like quarterbacks do. But also, Bo could very well play another 10 seasons, just like Mitch did, where he decided to play a whole 27. They are back in the playoffs, though. They lose Michael Penix and make it back to the playoffs, where they are playing the Packers, who are now led by Bryce Young. This year, the rushing offense kind of carried, being 13th in the league, 19th rated total offense, 21st rated passing offense. So Searles isn't on the level that Michael Penix was. Yeah, definitely not on the level of Michael Penix. We'll take a look here at rushing, and once again, Bo had a pretty good season with almost 1,200 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns. He consistently fumbles once every year. Receiving-wise, Bo had 126 receiving for 2 touchdowns. touchdowns. We'll take a look here at his career stats now. Bo in his career has 12,404 rushing yards, 127 touchdowns, 8 fumbles. So he hasn't fumbled every season. He's had a couple seasons without a fumble. He has 533 broken tackles. His longest run of his career was 83 yards. He has played 170 games. Those are pretty good numbers in 170 games. He averages almost 5 yards a carry to this point. Bo is still in the Vikings top 3. Bryce Young is the Packers starting quarterback, as we've already been over. We'll see if they can beat Green Bay as we get a divisional rival in the wild card round. We have to go into Lambeau Field, and just like that, they are actually going back to the divisional round in year 10. They managed to win the game 26-14, where you have Searles throwing 160 and a touchdown. He did now play Bryce Young. Bryce Young did a little better than he did. Okay, Bryce Young threw 3 picks. Never mind. Rushing, Bo didn't do too much, as the backup running back actually had the only touchdown. Well, the only rushing touchdown, not only touchdown in the game. Searles did throw 1. I didn't look if that was to Bo or not. I highly doubt it was anyway. In the divisional round, they're going to be taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, as you can see, who also went 10-7. Jalen Hurts is still their best player. This is a team that knocked him out a few years ago. Jalen Hurts had like 80-something rushing yards in that game. We'll see what happens here. Could this be the first time that Bo Jackson makes it past the divisional round? I'm honestly not sure about that. You can see he's on special teams now, so I don't know if maybe he's turned into the backup running back. He was just there on the special teams. The game is currently tied. This defense needs to make a stop here, and they're letting Jalen go right down the field and score, and now we get to jump in for the first time in a long time with an opportunity to see what Bo can do here, down 7. Searles comes out in the shotgun. He's got Bo to his left. This is kind of a passing situation. He is dropping back, and he throws it right to the middle linebacker, and Bo makes the tackle, but that was such a good read by that middle linebacker roaming over from the middle, and I think just like that with the first turnover of this game, the Eagles might be sending them home again, as Jalen is dropping back to throw. He hits Devonta Smith, and now I'm going to exit out of this and just super sim through. This defense needs to stop them from scoring. It is 4th and 1. They end up going for it and getting the first down, and now they just have to basically run the clock down, and the Eagles score a touchdown to make it a 14-point game. Searles is trying to get them downfield to score really quick, and they can't do it. They end up losing by 14 to the Eagles in the wild card round. In the divisional round, sorry, I got so used to saying in the wild card round because they couldn't make it past there for the longest time. You can see the lone interception of the game was thrown by Searles. We saw it. Rushing, you had Justin Cole not outperforming Bo. Bo had 77 yards and a touchdown. That's on just 6 carries too, by the way, so they just really didn't want to give Bo the ball. He had averaged almost 13 yards a carry, but most of those yards came on one play, as he had a 55-yard run that I'm assuming was for a touchdown. And just like that, Bo is now going to be a free agent again as we move into year 11, but that could very well be the end of Bo Jackson's career for all we know. As we go into adjust lineup here, and there's no longer a Bo Jackson here in Minnesota, so let's see what happens here. And in the retirements here, you can see Jalen Petrie, Kenny Pickett, and right under them, you have Bo Jackson retiring after 10 seasons. So once again, Bo Jackson retires kind of early in his career. I think he still had prime years left in him, but Bo decided to call it after 10 seasons. We'll take a look if he's in the record books at all, but I don't think he is. As we look here at rushing yards, he doesn't end up making this list. Saquon Barkley is in last. There's Barry, K9, Frank Gore, Christian McCaffrey, Walter Payton, Jonathan Taylor. Josh Jacobs ends up breaking that record, which is crazy. We go look at touchdowns, where I think he might make this one because he had 127. All time is once again Jacobs, K9, Emmitt Smith, Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, LT, Isaiah Pacheco. Okay, that's not a name I expected to see. And there is Bo Jackson in 10th. He may have barely made the list, but he did make it. I did not expect him to be on there, actually, after I didn't see him in the top 9. We'll take a look here where he is legacy score-wise, as I don't even know if he's actually on here because he retired, so he might just not be on here at all because that seems to be a running thing that happens on here. And in fact, he is not on here despite retiring unless he's down a lot lower than I thought he was. I'll just keep scrolling here and let it see how far it'll let me go, and there he is. He's all the way down. No, that's not even him. That's a different B Jackson. Okay, but Bo Jackson did have a good career. We got to see him play a little bit in the beginning. Towards the end, we didn't get to see too much of him, but he could never win a Super Bowl. He could never make it past the divisional round, and he stuck with the Vikings curse. He did rock out with 10 years as a Viking, which I kind of didn't expect, honestly. He had low overall interest to resign, and he kept coming back. But before I say goodbye and end this video, I just want to say again, thank you to everyone who watched. If you made it to this point, I greatly appreciate it, and feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you guys did enjoy. I'm going to try and get another video out for this weekend, but I'm not sure if I will be able to, so please bear with me on that. Following this week, I'm going to try to get back to 2 videos a week, and maybe even 3 as I get into MUT content. But thank you all for watching. It has been fun. With that out of the way, guys, I will talk to you in the next one. Peace out.